Hello, hello. I hope you guys can hear me. I got the regular camera working again. Oh, what a week, y'all. Hey, Nathan. Hey, Kaiwan. Yeah, lots to talk about, huh? Good evening, good evening. I hope your long weekends are going well. I think it's a long weekend for you guys over there too, right? In the US? Sorry, there we go. What is up? I forgot my water. It's just in the back, but I will grab it in a moment. But hey, y'all. I don't know. This week it felt I haven't streamed in forever, but it's only been since last Sunday, so like, you know. Oh man. But damn, what a crazy week. There we go. Sorry, just make sure I have all my notes ready. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. I think I got everything fixed that was wrong with the live stream last week, so I'm hoping it's good. Hey, Sandy. Superstar Dion. I don't know about Superstar, but I did have a really great show, and I'm quite satisfied with how things turned out for it. So, yeah. Oh, man. But good to see you all. Thanks for your patience, everyone, as this month was so crazy for me putting together the live show that I did. Which again went very well. I had a lot of people show up for me, which was great. My work colleagues actually showed up from my place of work, including like the manager, my assistant manager, 3 staff members as well. And I kind of laughed because it was like the older staff members. It's not like they're like crazy old or anything, but like there's people that are like miles years younger than I am, and then like older than me, and so everyone else was like older than me that showed up, and that's like ranging from like 40s to like almost like mid 60s, I think. So yeah, it was weird. I mean, like, oh, Angel, thanks. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I was in pure rock star mode. I had eyeliner on, and that's what I'm saying. It was like awkward that my like work colleagues were there because I'm not only in like eyeliner, but like my top was mesh, so like my whole stomach showing with like just a belt kind of covering a little bit of it, and my pants were also mesh, so like they're seeing like my knees and all this other stuff. I got chains on, the sparkly hat. Oh man, it was funny. Like, it was awkward. I had an inkling that like some people from my work were gonna show up, but I didn't think like 5 of them, and certainly not both of my bosses. Like, oh man, but it was good to see them. And then I'm glad because like I felt like a lot of people showed up for me for that show. That a lot of them that haven't been to the first 2 shows yet showed up as well. One of my best friends, Chris, who lives kind of on the outskirts of town, showed up, which was really nice. And I haven't seen him in a long time, so it was really great to see him. We'll talk about Kelly soon, Kaiwan. But yeah, my good friend Jeremy from the band Nicholas Rage made it to the show as well. He's been living on the other side of Canada for like the last 2 years. And he flew up, not because of my show, but the timing worked out perfectly in that sense. He's actually reuniting with Nicholas Rage to do a show next week in the same venue that I just performed in, which is really cool. But yeah, I was just stoked to have him there, and the fact that he showed up to the concert was like, I don't know, I got a little emotional. I kept it in on the inside, beyond like giving him the biggest hug of life. But Jeremy's probably number 1 on my list for local artists that I look up to and get inspired by. He's an incredible musician. He's so talented. He sings in multiple genres. He's been in multiple bands. And also, he was supportive of me when I was just contemplating putting myself out there as a musician, which I've been doing for years, but he was always kind of like, you should just go ahead and do it, like whenever we talked about it in the past. When a concert says standing room only, is there really no chairs at the venue? So there were chairs at mine. They were further in the back, and then they were standing in the front. But usually I would think that if it says that, then yeah, there might not be. There might be some like benches in the back, but like nothing like seated. And most of the concerts I go to are standing only. But mind you, I go to like a lot of like pop punk and like metal concerts, so there's mosh pits going on. Actually, to be fair, I went to a metal show this weekend, the day after mine, and there were chairs in the back as well, but the mosh pit was fire in the front. But yeah, again, I was just stoked that Jeremy was there, and also, like, most importantly, beyond everything I said about him just inspiring me and encouraging me to be my own artist and put myself out there, he's also just been like a really good friend, to me for as long as I've known him. And even though he was on the other side of the country when my dog died last year, the other dog, this dog's currently barking. But yeah, when George passed away last year, he made an effort to reach out to me and just like talk to me whenever I was feeling sad and just talk me through it. So yeah, it was just really nice to have him at my show. And he was there with Aaron, who is also in Nicholas Rage as well. My mom and grandmother were there, of course. My best friend Amber, of course. My good friend Terrence from All Was Lost was there too. I truly felt the love, so it was hard to really be nervous when I got to that actual show. Although I don't know, maybe some people find it more nerve-wracking when there's people that you know there, but me, I'm like, it's kind of comforting. And then Dramus and Selfish Bodies, two of the other acts that were on the bill, were just so kind about my set, which is great because I love their work as well. I've been to their concerts multiple times. I'm such a fan of their projects, so to get compliments from them was really cool. But yeah, it went off without a hitch, so it was nice. It was really cool. But I'll stop talking about the concert. I think we should get into GH because there's lots to talk about. Thanks for indulging me though. So let's talk about GH before we can get into the actual show and the stories from the show. We have to talk about Kelly Monaco exiting GH and apparently getting killed off. Obviously, I think every other streamer on here has said their 2 cents. Me, I was just buckling down for the show. So I just said, I'm going to share my thoughts Sunday, and now here I am. So you guys know I'm a Sam fan. I've loved Sam since I started watching. I was an OG J-Sam fan. I loved her with Lucky. I loved the 09 J-Sam reunion. I liked her with Patrick. I liked her with Billy Miller's Jason as well. I don't even mind her with Dante either. But with that said, the elephant in the room that I think a lot of Sam fans aren't really talking much about is that ever since Billy Miller was let go from GH, it kind of felt like Kelly's heart wasn't really in it anymore. Like, I think something just changed in her. Like, you could just tell that she didn't seem to be really enjoying the character and bringing the same fire that she used to bring. And while, she didn't say anything publicly when Billy Miller passed away, I'm sure it was another gut punch and it probably didn't help the matter. And I'm sure the writing for the character didn't help all that much either because it's truly been abysmal for Sam, especially lately. Angel, you're saying that they watered down her character so much over the years to the point where they made me annoyed with her. They never give her her own story. Yeah, that's how I feel too, Angel. I know there's petitions and all this stuff to keep Kelly Monaco on the show, and if you've signed the petition, more power to you. I haven't. I won't be. Because in all honesty, I don't think it'll help. To be honest, I don't think it'll help. if the petition does get her job back, the writing for her is still not going to get any better. It's not going to change. There doesn't seem to be a desire to put her back with Jason. For whatever reason, people can speculate about this reason, that reason, whatever. There doesn't seem to be an interest in it. Nor does there seem to be interest in investing in couples that she's a part of, or investing in giving Sam a good story. So, like, if she keeps her job, that part's not going to change. And truly, while I don't know Kelly personally, she doesn't strike me as the kind of person that would want to stay in a work environment where her superiors have already made it clear that they don't want her to be there anymore. So, at the end of the day, I don't think what Kelly's fans want will matter to her just on principle. Like, I have no doubt that she'd be grateful that they're fighting for her. But she seems like a woman that's going to choose to go somewhere that will hopefully treat her better than they do at GH. I mean, who knows? Like, maybe that part won't matter, because I think she's definitely loved by her fellow castmates, and probably some of the crew as well, that interact with her daily. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see her staying, even if the petition convinces Frank and the powers that be to bring her back on. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Public uproar, save Jeannie and Becky. It might work for Kelly. Yeah, but like, it didn't work for their stories, is what I'm saying. Like, Becky did get fired, and uproar brought her back, but did her stories get any better? Did her screen time get any better? Not really. Like, it's so... I'm glad that Becky is still here. And, you know, maybe she's just grateful that she got a job back, even if the people didn't want her at that point. But, you know, in the writing, it shows that she didn't really get great stories. Jeannie, yeah, we all fought like hell for Jeannie, because what happened to her was so unfair. And I feel like her stories go up and down. Sometimes she's given great material, but most times she doesn't get great material. I think the stuff with Cyrus was actually really gold, when they kind of made the effort to really deep dive into the character's history and give her something new. But that, you know, it kind of dwindles as well. It's back and forth with her. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I obviously, you guys know I'm a big Kelly Monaco fan, and I love Sam. Hey, Cortez. But at the end of the day, the writing has been abysmal, and I don't want to see that anymore. I would rather Sam be off the show than on with nothing, when Kelly's heart clearly doesn't seem to be in it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just felt like that. And she's not even the first actor on the show that I've seen that happen with. It was very much the same for Tyler Christopher during his last few years before he was off the show. You know, it just kind of felt like he was phoning it in, and we know what he's capable of, and we know what Kelly's capable of, and you know, even I find that GH is full of actors that know how to turn, you know, shite into gold just by how they play the scenes. And we see that time and again with actors in the most ridiculous of storylines. Like Finola Hughes, Anna gets banana storylines, and she somehow manages to make it work, even when we can't stand what the character is doing. She makes it work. Whereas, like, you know, Kelly and Tyler, who are arguably as good of actors as Finola is, you know, anything they were given, they didn't really... It felt like they weren't enjoying it. It came across in their performances. Angel, you said Kelly's mom made it obvious on Twitter that Kelly got fired because Kelly didn't want to do the lower episode guarantee but agreed to a pay cut. Interesting. Kelly has admitted to phoning it in sometimes to JLJ Media. I phone it in if they were giving me stale writing. Yeah, I mean, but like, I get the urge to I get her reason for it. If she's not feeling the writing, then she's gonna have it show in the performance. But then like the show suffers for that. And like, I don't know. I think as an actor, you're supposed to leave everything, out the door, regardless of how you feel of the stories that you're getting or the work that's being done. Like, I think that you're kind of obligated to give it your all. You know what I mean? It's just like a matter of being too comfortable in like in your work environment, and then that could bite you on the ass. I don't necessarily think that's what happened here, but I think that there is always that possibility. Like you get what you give. And when you're the worker and the bosses are, have this expectation of you to like bring your A game, even if the writing isn't stellar, then like, your job is to keep the show going and to keep it interesting. And if you don't look interested in the stories that you're a part of, the viewers, we feel that. And so, ultimately, of course, we want better writing. Like we all do. That's no lie. But, it's the actor's job to make it work, regardless of what it is. All right. But yeah, let's get into the show. Give me like 2 seconds. I'm just going to grab my water from the back. And then we're going to get into the actual stories of GH that I'm also really excited to talk to you guys about. 1 sec. Okay. Sorry, you guys are... What are you guys saying? Yeah, sorry. Jeez, I was ranting so much I missed a lot of what you guys were saying. Hey, Ethel. Nathan, you said, why I was actually shocked about Kelly's firing. Look what happened to her character, especially when she was with Dante. Sam was stripped of everything except for being a mom, which isn't bad. But when you have other characters on soaps who haven't grown or changed in a way, Sam should still be a badass. I agree with that. Like, to me, if Sam was written properly, she wouldn't have been so, like, I don't know, just so unbearable about Jason's choices and, like, being so overprotective of Danny, especially. Like, to me, like, if Sam was written to be, like, I don't know, as badass as she used to be, she would be teaching her kids how to be resourceful and to respect the choices that they make in their life, but to just be smart and proceed with caution on certain things and just be aware of your surroundings and like, be street savvy. Sam grew up as having to be street savvy because of her upbringing and kind of running from con to con and kind of being in survivor mode to get her and her adoptive brother through their sort of, younger years. And of course she had to be resourceful when ending up in a relationship with Jason as well. And yeah, she can want better for them, but I think, as any parent would, but like, just to, I don't know, just to be so, I don't know, micromanaging everything that Danny does and like being so hard on Jason for certain things. Like, certain things she definitely had a right to be mad about, like putting Carly over her kids. That's something worth being mad about, and to hash that out with Jason. But yeah, the way that they've written her the last few years, and like just that she lost all her spunk and her desire to be a PI and all the things that we loved about Sam are gone. You guys are right, they're gone. It sucks. Sandy, you said, I don't think she ever got over Billy leaving. I don't think she did either. Angel, you said, I don't think the character deserves to be unalive. That's too severe. I agree with that. I'm surprised that she is getting killed. I mean, if they're killing her off, she better go out with a gosh dang bang, you know? Like, bring back her badass, you know, her badassery. And, like, have her go out doing something that saves somebody if they're going to have her go out. I would rather her not go out at all. But you know, they've written her to never be in a position where she'd have to leave her children willingly. So, I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about Malibu Ken too. Yeah, she can't be Jason's wife anymore. They got no reason to keep her on the show. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But, like, she's had other, like, great couples that, like, were fun to watch, you know? Even Dante and Sam could have been an interesting couple. Like, and I get that they're clearly on the verge of bringing Lulu back. They're clearly going to put Dante and Lulu back together. But, like, you know, like, the writers could have given Sam something. But they've dismantled so much of the character that it's hard to, like, even, like, how do you start to fix that? Where do you begin with that? Alright, but enough about Kelly. Let's get into these stories of GH, because there's lots to discuss. At the end of the previous week, Jonathan Jackson had made his debut, or his re-debut, as Lucky Spencer. And this week we got to see what he's been up to. It turns out the reason why he was bagged in some kind of prison is because he faced off with a bunch of guys that belong presumably to the shady character that Lucky he had claimed that he was trying to get a job from this guy. In actuality, he was there to save his friend's life, a doctor named Isaiah, played by the actor Sawandi Wilson. He helps him get the opportunity to escape with a contact he'll be able to reach out to that will help him where he needs to go. The original plan was to escape together, but Lucky wasn't able to go with him, and now he basically has to convince this shady guy that he wasn't there to help the doctor escape and just wants a job, so that's the bind he's currently in. I get the vibe that this shady character is someone that we don't have to pay much attention to. It's just, he's a plot device to get Lucky back into town eventually. I don't think he's gonna, you know, do too much in Port Chuck. But yeah, so meanwhile, Isaiah, the doctor, he managed to escape, and he winds up in Port Charles only to get hit by a car. A car that Ava was a passenger of in the middle of a storm. More on that later. I hope he survives, because GH could use some other staff members, honestly. There's like no doctors and nurses left on the show. Now, meanwhile, Lucky's family is in a pretty dire like situation. Lulu's liver is failing and she needs a transplant. Laura, she goes over to Nicholas to see him in prison and gets him tested. And he was played by Adam Huss again, which I was actually surprised about, because I could have sworn at some point he said that he wouldn't be back in the role. I swear, like, in the last couple of months, there was an article somewhere saying that. So I was surprised to see him. But apparently he was able to appear this time. Now, even though Nicholas was a match for Lulu in the past, which we knew from the original story that brought Nicholas on or into Port Charles in the first place, but now his liver apparently isn't good enough for Lulu. It's fine for him, but not good enough for her, which is interesting. I don't know, like, where that's gonna lead. Like, why isn't it? Is he gonna be okay? Is something wrong with Nicholas? I don't. It's just weird. It's weird. But yeah, other family members and friends were testing for Lulu as well. But it's known that a sibling is the best match, which is, you know, why Laura is making such an effort to track down Lucky, because a full sibling would be the best match. My one question is that there has been zero mention, none whatsoever, about Ethan. Not one. And I know he's not a full sibling. like Lucky. But considering she went to Nicholas, Ethan should have been the next call if Lucky was unavailable. And I know that, Ethan could potentially be just as hard to track down given his lifestyle. She could use her resources to track them both down at the same time. If Nicholas' liver isn't fit to donate, Lucky is not going to be any better. He's a recovering alcoholic. Not really, though. Yeah, he got addicted to painkillers. And there was one brief moment in time for a couple of weeks where he went on a bender with alcohol. But, then he stopped. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. And it's been, a long-ass time. Y'all love you some Ethan. Yeah. I mean, I would like to see Nathan Parsons back in the role if they bring him back, though. But yeah, like you guys said, Holly's coming back. We know Emma Samms is on her way back. Maybe with Holly coming back, we'll get an Ethan mention, and maybe Felicia can ask Holly where Ethan is. They can try to track him down. I don't know. Or help track down Lucky as well, or maybe help Ethan track down Lucky. And Holly can work with Laura as well, and maybe Felicia too. They can only afford Lucky, not Ethan too. Well, they're getting rid of Kelly Monaco, so maybe they can scrounge up an Ethan. Oh, man. But yeah, so Laura actually asked the WSB or Jack Brennan to help track down Lucky, and they managed to track him to Africa. And so Laura, of course, wants to take it upon herself to go to Africa herself to find him personally. Kevin's going to go with her. What about Ethan? Just that is just going to irk me until they mention him, because nobody has mentioned him. Not a single person. That's the irritating part, that no one has mentioned him. No one forgot about Ethan. They all knew who he was. But yeah. Maybe Felicia should ask Anna to ask Jack Brennan to track Ethan down too, if Holly doesn't know where he is. Also, Jack Brennan wants to work with Jason again. But he wants Jason to work with him willingly. He doesn't seem to want to hold something against him. He did get WSB men to not grab Carly, but make her go to see him as a way to lure Jason over to his office. But at the end of the day, he wasn't going to put back the recording of Carly to use it as leverage or anything. I don't know. Drugs jack up your liver and kidneys. It's not reversible. I suppose not, but I feel like both times that he got addicted, it was only for a small amounts of time. I think they're trying to replace them. All right, but yeah. Just to go a little bit more into Lulu's situation. Lulu's turmoil is having a profound effect on a lot of people like Tracy and Maxie. And it's been nice seeing that, but the person that's killing the most seems to be Dante. He got an earful from Tracy about how him leaving her turned her into someone she didn't recognize. And honestly, Tracy, same. I haven't recognized Lulu since 2013. In all fairness, but a little humor. That was just a little humor about Julie and Emmy being polar opposites in their approach as playing Lulu, or approach to playing Lulu, I should say. But yeah, I guess Tracy misses the fire and feist and impulsiveness that Lulu had, instead of the very, you're gonna kill me, very demure, very mindful Lulu that she became as the years rolled on. I had to throw in that meme somewhere, you guys. Sandy said, I love the new Tracy. I love her too. I've always loved Tracy though. I love that, she even in her a lot more unhinged years, she still showed signs of caring in her own way, and she's only gotten softer in that front, but she can still snap back when she needs to. Angeli said, my thing is, if Lucky wasn't a match for Lulu's bone marrow, how he's a match for the liver? Did they test Lucky for the bone marrow? I'm assuming they did. But I don't know. I don't know enough about that kind of thing to really have an opinion on that or not. Mind you, you could argue that, you know, if Nicholas was a match before, why isn't he now? Nathan, you said that you were actually surprised Tracy called out Dante, but glad. We need to understand Dante really isn't the husband father of the decade. This is true. That Tracy and Dante argument came out of nowhere for me. I was like, I mean, it didn't really throw me, only because, like, you know, Tracy has a tendency when she's sad to want to take it out on other people. So that was just more of the same for me. But what was more left field for me, honestly, was when Dante called out Carly, when she was trying to just speak to him and comfort him and just, you know, tell him what's up. He threw the fact that she hired Brooklyn to sleep with him and break up he and Lulu in Carly's face. And this is like something that happened in 2010. The incident was actually brought up twice last week. Brooklyn and Chase kind of touched on it a little bit. And then, you know, Carly and Dante talked about it again. And the show seems to be alluding to something life-changing happening to Brooklyn because of this incident. Also, the subject of babies has also been brought up to Brooklyn and Chase this week, courtesy of Violet, as if there isn't enough kids in the Quartermaine mansion already. Laura and Kevin have even left Ace with Tracy and the Quartermaine nannies. Like, Ace is now living at the Quartermaine mansion too. Like, Tracy's reaction was hilarious, and I'm sure she was thinking, like, there's already so many kids. Man. But yeah, and you know, Tracy agreed to do it for Lulu's sake. But anyway, back to the Brooklyn topic. Like, them bringing up babies for Brooklyn and Chase, and bringing up Dante and Lulu. My worry is that they're gonna say that Brooklyn and Dante have some secret child out there somewhere, because of Carly paying Brooklyn to sleep with Dante. But if they decide to go that route, like, we would literally have to ignore, like, what we saw on screen. Not, like, first of all, Brooklyn didn't sleep with Dante. She drugged him and was, I think, gonna make it look like she did, but before, you know, they could even, like, unbuckle their pants and whatever, because Dante was drugged, Lulu walked in and, like, dragged Brooklyn off of Dante, slapped her, and then Brooklyn slapped her back, and then Lulu literally just, like, shoved her out the door, threw her bag, and, like, shut the door. So, like, they didn't sleep together. Yes, she essayed Dante, and I can see why she would not want to bring that up to Chase. And, you know, it was a messed up situation. I'm not, you know, making light of that at all. I'm just saying she didn't sleep with Dante, so there wouldn't be a love child out there. So if they're going to retcon that and have Brooklyn have a child by Dante, that's going to be so dumb. And on top of that, like, Brooklyn didn't leave town for a while. That incident was, like, the summer of 2010. Brooklyn was around, like, pretty deep into, well, I don't know about deep, but she was around for, like, at least almost half of 2011 as well. So, like, if they're going to try to say that she had a baby, like, we're going to have to ignore, like, the several months after that incident where Brooklyn stuck around town and became Nicholas's paid escort, like, to princely events and stuff. And yeah, I agree, Angel, I agree. But yeah, we'd have to ignore all that, and not only that, we'd have to ignore, like, you know, the fact that she couldn't have gotten pregnant from Dante because she was away from him for months with no sign of pregnancy. So I don't know. Yeah, BLQ and Nicholas were a thing. Like, they weren't like a fully fleshed out romance. Like, I think likely because I think it was around that time where Tyler was kind of done with the show, and Brooklyn just kind of eventually just kind of dwindled off screen. We didn't really see her leave town fully or anything. That's what Cody got on Dante, but something, well, I don't know. Kaiwani said, I think that what they're going to do is make it look like Gio is their son. Gio is the son that they had when they were teenagers in 96. But, like, you forget that, like, Brooklyn was also, like, several years younger than Dante to begin with. Like, even when Adrienne Leon was playing her and, like, talking about her history with Dante, she mentioned that she was, like, few years younger in school. So, like, they weren't, like, in the same grade. They weren't close to the same grade. You know, they were miles apart, but people would want them to be together as adults someday. It was, like, this whole thing. But they, like, liked each other as, like, brother and sister. So, I don't know. So, yeah, they'd have to retcon that, too. Like, the fact that, like, Dante never seen Brooklyn in that light, and Brooklyn also never seen Dante in that light. But yeah, time will tell what they're gonna do. I don't want to, like, jump to the conclusions, but, like, it feels like they're gonna go that route, and that's gonna be annoying if they do. And if they make Gio their child, that's even more dumb. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about Lois for a second. Just only a second, because there's not much to Lois this week. She is stuck on changing her accent ever since someone had made fun of it or dissed her for it when she was on Home and Heart. Listen, a Lois without an accent is like a mermaid without fins. Like, Lois is fine the way she is. You know, it gives her character some charm, and like, to get rid of it, it'd be like, why? Also, Rena Sofer is too good of an actress to be getting this as her storyline. Just do better. They need to use Gio or lose him. Yeah, there's not much purpose to him, in all honesty. I mean, I think that the plan was to kind of make him the love interest for Trina, but, you know, they gotta give us more with him if they're gonna make him a viable character on the show. They gotta have him do more than, like, playing the violin and just being in the background doing random stuff and having random conversations with people. You thought that was Rena's natural accent? Nope. Nope. Nathan, you said, I think what's going to happen with this storyline for Lois, the person is going to help her will have feelings and they'll hook up, most likely. Well, who's going to help her? Isn't she just getting an acting, like a voice coach or something? Lois' story is so beside you because you literally live in New York and around an all around bunch of Italian people. Gio and Natalia can go. Well, if they have to stay, they better make them interesting is all I'm getting at. Alright, let's move on. Let's talk about Drew. He's still doing his campaigning. He was at a rally where his mentor, McConkley, or whatever his name is, was supposed to be there to cheer him on, but he wasn't. Turns out he actually died. And Willow was there when he got the call, and she was too eager to comfort him and took him back to his office as a storm came rolling in, and I guess the sound of thunder and rain, much like the sound of of fireworks and vibes of it all got their juices flowing, and they started making out again. I think they're gonna do the dirty. I hope Michael walks in on it. That would be great. If we're gonna have to sit through this, it might as well happen. And honestly, let's blow that shit up. I don't like Michael and Willow anyway. I feel like Michael just ruins every girl that he's with. Willow is obviously an example of that. But so was Sasha and Star, and I've never liked any of his pairings with Chad Duell's Michael. And to be fair, Drew Garrett's Michael didn't even have any love interest, so I don't know. I feel like he might have done better. Or maybe his couples would have been more enjoyable to watch, but who knows. Sandy said Drew and cheerleader Willow need to do it and get it over with. Angel, you said right on the same floor he laid her mother on for 45 minutes. Yeah, true. I wasn't thinking about that, but you right. Ugh. Yeah, I don't want to see it, but I would love to see the fallout if Michael walked in on it. All right, but let's check in with the hot mess that is the Davis clan, because there's lots to discuss there. I'll try to shorten it a little bit, at least until things pick up a little bit. But in short, Molly and Christina still hate each other. Christina's still calling the baby her baby. Anytime she does, Sonny and Alexis just hold their tails between her legs and just say nothing to her at all. Probably because they think she's too fragile to be, called out for it. I don't know. Molly, she actually had a conversation with Dex of all people about Christina, one that led to Dex talking about his mom and his siblings and how he cut ties with all of them. But she actually made him want to reach out to his mom, and I think in a way Dex did the same for her, because they're still in her life, and it's something that they could probably get over eventually. And obviously Molly doesn't want to, but Dex is kind of just being devil's advocate and being like, do you really just not want to have your family ever again though? Yeah, it's working for him, but obviously not that much, because he's thinking about calling his mom again. We'll see. It's interesting that they're kind of bringing back Dex's backstory. I'm intrigued to learn a little bit more about Dex, in all honesty. I know that people were kind of speculating on who his father was and everything, but I don't know. It beats just having him and Josh just have sex all the time. Christina has worked my last nerve, you're saying, Sandy? She is as bipolar as her dad? Maybe. But yeah. Rick, Molly's father, he called out Alexis for coddling Christina over Molly, and Molly, of course, showed up while they were arguing and said that she could fight her own battles. We'll see how that plays out given the direction of the story. I think that Alexis and Molly sort of fixed things between them, but it's going to take something big for Christina and Molly to set their differences aside. And I think that big thing is probably going to be Sam dying, most likely, from the sounds of it. Jeez. What a mess. But yeah, also, Rick is now Heather's lawyer in her efforts to get justice for being wronged by the company that did her hip replacement, and probably to try to get her out of jail as well. I'm really confused by all of this. Is Ken Schreiner just suddenly not available anymore? What? Is this Ken can't work right now? Or is this Jagger maybe has Scott Baldwin stashed away somewhere? I want to know if this is plot based or behind the scenes based. What is going on? Why did Scott Baldwin just vanish after, dropping the groceries, seeing Jason, seeing that pharmacist? Molly let Alexis off the hook way too quickly. Yeah, you're right. I agree. I hope that she calls her out more when she sees more of it, because I think that's inevitable. Oh, Kin had a medical emergency. Okay. So it is a behind the scenes thing. Okay. All right. Then that is valid. Then I won't pry too much on that plot twist. I just was curious as to what actually happened there. You know how they like to make Scott weasel. Yeah, but if it's a medical emergency, then that's valid. I wonder if that's why they brought Rick back. Not even for Molly's sake, just for to like replace Scott in that story. My goodness. But yeah, maybe storyline wise, Jagger does have Scott somewhere though. You just feel like AJ's ghosts and Nell are laughing? Maybe. But yeah, speaking of Jagger, Jagger just continued to spiral and go off the rails all week. You know, he was gunning for Christina in full force, dragging her back to the police station again, saying she's being charged with manslaughter over the death of her own baby. Using that as leverage to try and get Sonny to turn himself into the PCPD in order to set Christina free. Christina went from a weeping mess over Jagger like hounding her to just like suddenly being over Jagger's bullshit and just calling him out for the man that he was acting like. You know, I actually liked some of the clapbacks that she was giving Jagger because it obviously got under his skin a little bit. And you know, he was raring to put her in a jail cell or a holding cell until Alexis made enough noise at the PCPD threatening to sue the FBI and to sue the PCPD over Christina's treatment, that he let her take Christina home again. And, you know, they were home for all of 2 seconds before sneaking out the door while snatching Alexis's car keys so she could drive to Sonny's in the rain and grab Sonny's gun from his safe that she, I guess, knows the password to. And she takes the gun and goes elsewhere. Now, Sonny, he had agreed to meet Jagger at the Quartermains, where he was discreetly and subtly saying his goodbyes to his loved ones and asking them to take care of each other, but not like alluding to why. And so you know, to be honest, I thought for sure like he's actually gonna turn himself in, and then maybe like my thought was like maybe Christina's going to kill Jagger before, you know, he manages to go to the PCPD and confess to all of his crimes. So, and like we even seen him call Diane saying that he was going to do it. However, they meet at the boathouse for some reason. I don't know why the boathouse. Well, now I know. And it's pouring rain. And Jagger's like smug and like ready to have him arrested and all this stuff. And then Sonny pulls out his gun and just fires 2 shots and kills Jagger right there and then on the Quartermain boathouse deck. Like I honestly, truth be told, I did not see that coming. I really thought that it was going to play out the other way. We saw Christina grab the gun. We saw Sonny, you know, calling Diane to get ready to turn himself in. We saw Sonny saying his goodbyes. But I guess, you know, the reason for that is because he was going to kill an FBI agent. And, like, that's not something you can come back from as a criminal. He probably will because it's General Hospital and, God forbid, Sonny go to jail. The only time that he would actually go away for something is if he retires. I don't think Maurice is retiring just yet, so don't know how this is going to go down. What do you guys think? Angel said Jagger was trying to have Ava in the Pine Bear. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second too. So, but yeah, needless to say, I knew like Jagger was likely going to die. Like I said, the writing was on the wall the minute he was acting as unhinged as he's been acting. But like, I didn't think that Sonny was going to shoot him. But anyway, he was also unhinged enough to hire a woman to disguise herself as an FBI agent, when in actuality, she was the woman he hired to take Ava over to the Pine Barrens to kill her, which is insane. So Sonny was actually right about his theory. You're right, Angel. Like, I was like, in my head, I was like, is Sonny just like trying to convince her that that's what he's gonna do? Because I was like, in my head, I was still like, well, he wouldn't kill Ava. Like, he'd certainly throw her under the bus, but like, he's not gonna kill Ava. And he was gonna kill Ava. That's crazy. Oh man. But yeah, I guess given the unhingedness, killing Ava is right on brand for the Jagger of this moment. But yeah, I guess his logic was he probably seen that Ava wasn't so sure about what he was getting her to do, and I think that he caught on to the fact that like there's a very good possibility that Ava's going to recant her statement, so his goal was just to kill her before she could, I guess. Maybe that's what will get Sonny off in the end. Self-defense. The man was crazy and trying to kill people. So I don't know. Anyway, when the two of them, Ava and the woman, I mean, were on the road to the Pine Barrens, that's when they appear to hit Isaiah. I'm pretty sure they hit him. It looks like they hit him. Isaiah again is the doctor that Lucky rescued. So that's where we're at with the show. A dead Jagger, a captured Ava in a car wreck with a stranger, ran over in the middle of the road. And we don't even know where Christina went with that gun. Kaiwan, I think you said you think that there might be a suicide story. I mean, that would be dark. And that would be an interesting way for the story to go. It's just, I don't see how... Like, Christina seemed like she was gunning for Jagger, not gunning for herself. You know what I mean? But who knows? We'll see. Yeah, let me scroll up and read what some of y'all have been saying, because I know I've missed some stuff. Nathan, you said, honestly, as much as I hate Jagger getting killed off, Jagger had it coming. His mistake was going after Christina when he had no physical evidence of what happened between Ava and Christina. Yeah, like Alexis was going to sue his ass to Kingdom Come, and she was probably going to win. Ethel, you said, I was shocked that Sonny killed Jagger himself. I think, I am not that, like in hindsight, I'm not that surprised that Sonny killed himself. I know he could get Jason to do it, but even Jason was like, you don't want to do this, you're throwing your life away. And I think this was Sonny's way to protect his kids and protect Jason. He's like, he said, I think, what did he say? He said this to someone, perhaps Michael, that Jagger someone going after Sonny by going through his kids was Sonny's worst nightmare come true. And so it's an FBI agent. Sonny knows that there's no coming back from it. He was warned by Jason that there's no coming back from it. So I think he was just like, just so my kids don't have to deal with the mess that is me, I'm going to kill this agent, end that, and if I have to spend the rest of my life in jail over it, then so be it. I think Sonny will probably try to go into hiding, but at the end of the day, I think he was just making the ultimate sacrifice to protect Christina. Because I think even if Sonny had turned himself in before, instead of going to kill Jagger, I think that once he did, I don't think that he would have stopped going after Christina. I think that he would put them both in jail. Just to put the salt on the wounds a bit more. He's not going to give Sonny any grace. Angel said maybe Jagger is not a working agent because how? Yeah, it is a bit sketchy. But like, surely someone would have noticed. I mean, we know the FBI have their eyes on Jagger to begin with because of the fact that like his ID was shown to like the last to look at the evidence, and then suddenly the evidence vanished. So he's kind of been made to look like the guy who got rid of that evidence or lost the evidence. Nathan, you said better yet, it wasn't his jurisdiction in the first place. The PCPD was investigating the case, not the FBI. Yeah, like why didn't the bosses come down on him? Like, do they just have no idea what he's up to? Because like they should be keeping an eye on him more so right now, no? Because of what happened with the evidence. And Angel, you said you thought that Christina was going to use the gun on Jagger or Ava, not unalive herself. How she knows the code is another question. Yeah. Ethel, you said that was true character. I think you meant assassination of Jagger. I agree. This really felt like a way to kind of get the whole behind the scenes sort of turmoil between the previous actor that played Jagger and not bringing him back to GH. Just be like, well, now you have no character to come back to, so there. Like that's what it was giving. In my opinion. Ethel, you said, I'm sure Sonny's adult kids know the code to that gun safe. But like, isn't the point of like having a code to like make sure that no one else knows how to get to his gun? It's kind of like how Michael, when he was a kid, got to Sonny's gun. Like, I think that, he would have cracked down on like any of his kids getting access to the gun so that they could get hurt. Yes, his kids are all adults now, but like, why would they need to know the code for that? Angeli said if Christina tries to unalive herself after wanting Ava gone, she got some mental illness because mood's everywhere. They didn't want to make Jagger a hero. Sonny doesn't really have a code. He just wants to kill people that he doesn't consider innocent. I mean, if you're talking about like what Christina had said, that because what Christina said to Jagger was that Sonny has a moral code. He'd never go after children, and this and that and the other thing. I don't think we've necessarily seen him go after children. But mind you, like one could argue that Sonny went after Johnny Zakara because of his father Anthony. But like Johnny, Johnny was also a full-grown adult at this point, so who knows? Who knows? Christina, Christina's not a kid. Christina's in her 30s. Johnny was in his 30s as well. That's the house gun. Maybe. Yeah, Sonny clearly had his own with him. Yeah, you think it was all about Antonio Sabato Jr. as well? Yeah, it seems like it to me. It is what it is. Like, I didn't miss Jagger enough to want him back, even as Antonio Sabato Jr. I know, like, people will use his politics to be like, well, we don't want him back because of this. I can separate the characters from the actors' politics, even if I don't agree with their politics. Because at the end of the day, they're doing a job. If they're playing a character I like, then they're playing a character I like. That's just how I feel on the matter. But yeah, I didn't care enough one way or the other to have Jagger back under Antonio Sabato Jr. If given a choice between Antonio and the actor that currently plays him or played him, now he's dead, I would have picked Antonio for sure, or at least someone that looked like Antonio. You know what I mean? But like not if they were just gonna do this with his character. Truthfully, I would have, like, if they weren't gonna do all this to Jagger, I would have loved to see Jagger and Stone, like his son Stone, in Port Charles, kind of living their lives and building friendships with new people, and you know, Jagger not really focusing on Sonny, because the narrative with Jagger this whole time has been like, Jagger's been after me for decades, and I'm like, Jagger never gave you a second thought for 20 damn years. He did not care. He was in Port Charles, didn't mention you once when, you know, Robin was pregnant with Emma. Like, and Robin got to meet Little Stone. Like, he didn't mention Sonny once. He didn't care. He was there, rekindling his friendship with Robin and finding love with Syra, Robin's doctor friend that was on night shift. Like, he was doing his own thing. So, I don't know. It's a silly narrative, and it clearly was, like, wedged to just do the absolute most to Jagger and to kill him off so that Antonio could just shut up about it. I don't know, Kaiwan. But yeah, I mean that's GH in a nutshell this week. I don't think anything else interesting happened. If I forgot anything, let me know. But those are all the like interesting plots that I could think of in my head to talk about this week. I will say that while we're still like pretty fresh in Lucky's story, I am really enjoying it so far. It's fun to watch Jonathan Jackson on screen, just in general again, but like having him sort of running this con with this with this shady bad guy, who again I think is gonna matter so very little in the grand scheme. Like, he seems like an extra that's just here for this part of the story to keep him wherever he is so that Laura can find him. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing Lucky back in Port Charles and interacting with his family, and the show hopefully kind of rebuilding the Spencer clan, because they have been blatantly missing. Like, I know like Carly's now a Spencer, like she's using that name, but like it's not the same thing. It's not like, you know, the Spencer clan essentially was Luke, Laura, Lucky, Lulu, and by extension Nicholas and Ethan. So having Laura have kids on screen again, because none of them were. Nicholas was in jail, Lucky was in Africa, and Lulu was in a coma. So like, I'm glad that Laura is getting her kids back. I am curious to see who they'll pick as the actress that plays Lulu. There's been speculation on a actress from All My Children, but there's also been speculation, or no, was it All My? Yeah, it was All My Children, and a speculation of someone from YNR as well. So again, I'm not really going to comment on how I feel about either of them potentially playing the role until we get confirmation on who is actually going to play the role. And I think when we get full confirmation, maybe we'll look at some of her work as like a Wednesday stream for GH. Speaking of Wednesday stream, we're going to do one this week. And I think because they're bringing so much of the Brooklyn and Dante and Lulu stuff into the conversations right now, that we'll watch scenes from that. Funny enough, the very scene that involves Brooklyn like sleeping with Dante, well, not sleeping with Dante, but like assaulting Dante and kissing him and you know, being on top of him and taking her clothes off, that that got deleted from another channel that I was running. Beyond the Envious one, I had more channels that were like family based channels. So I had like a Quartermain channel, and I had like a I had other ones, but I still remembered my Quartermain one, but there were other ones too. I had a channel for like Just Sonny and Brenda as well when Brenda came back. But yeah, I think we're gonna watch scenes from that regardless. I'll find the little clip that there is somewhere available of like that moment of like Lulu finding Brooklyn. It's like 30 seconds long, and it just shows the slapping and the shoving out the door part. But yeah. As far as Kelly Monaco goes, if she doesn't get her job back, I think for the insult, they'll recast her role with Lindsay Hartley as new Sam, and then an even bigger insult, do new J Sam 2.0, 3.0. I don't know. And Angel, you said if they unalive Kelly or Sam, that will definitely be a fall sweep. It's the biggest we've had in a while if done right. It's been a while since we had a major character pass on with the actor still living. That's true. That is true, yeah. Like, I like, again, my hope is that if Kelly doesn't get to keep her job, if these petitions don't work, and they're inevitably killing her off, then she better go out with a bang that, like, puts the character in a good light again, has her get her badassery back, at least for that moment. Like, have her make some kind of big sacrifice to protect maybe her kids or something. Like, she needs to go out with a bang. Like, let Sam get her fire back and her feist back, and like, just have the character go out and not in a fizzle, you know? Has enough time has passed for us to watch Lulu Dante BLQ saga? It was 2010. I always say to keep the like throwbacks 2010 or under, so we're in that window. We're not gonna watch a whole lot of it, okay? We're just gonna try to watch like what led up to it, that particular moment, the tiny clip that I can find of the moment where Lulu discovers it, and then the confrontation afterwards. And like the story, you know, it was involving a lot of like, not, you know, Dante and Lulu, while they had like their screen time, they weren't major players, so their scenes were relatively short throughout. So it's not going to be a big watch through or anything. We're just going to watch a moment. I'm sure the live stream won't be longer than an hour. Sorry, the dog was barking again. Killing the character is a dig to the actress. Lots of backscreen stuff going on. No, you know, we're all speculating, but at the end of the day, I just hope that Sam can go out with a bang. Or perhaps in a way that doesn't necessarily completely write off the character. I mean, there's been deaths where, like, it's open-ended enough that, like, you could question if she's truly dead or not, and maybe we'll get that kind of one. We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Yeah, and we'll see where they go with this Brooklyn and Dante story. Maybe we'll get more insight on... I don't think there's an episode tomorrow because it's a long weekend, right? So probably Tuesday. We'll have at least two episodes before the live stream. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So yeah. But yeah, I think we'll wrap up this stream. Before I go, a couple things. I am performing again at the end of this month. It hasn't been officially announced yet. But there is something coming at the end of the month, and it's not going to affect the live streams too much. Worst case scenario, if I had to rehearse on a Wednesday, we'll still live stream on a Thursday, because the show is now in place, and it was shown, like, my concert was in place. Everything has been organized. Everything went off without a hitch at the first test run of this new show that I'm performing, and costume wise and mixing wise, and everything went well. So now it's just a matter of just like going over it once or twice and doing the thing. Christina will be falling out the window again Monday. Is that the episode they're going to show again? They can't even go back further than that? Good lord. Well, alright. Also, one other thing. This video here is the 1000th upload on this channel, which is crazy. I've done 1,000 videos. Not all of them were live streams, obviously. But this is counting like my original videos, my original version of the GH After Show, the other American Horror Story videos that I did, the skits that I did, music that I posted, and even the shorts. All that collectively, there's been 1,000 as of this video. This is video 1,000 right here. So that's a milestone. We hit 1,000 subscribers not too long ago, and now we got 1,000 videos. We're not gonna have a celebration for that because I don't know. It feels weird to celebrate that, but just a cool thing to mention. But yeah, all right. I will catch you guys this Wednesday. We'll watch some things from. Oh, did I see the promo for Monster? Yes, I did. Just 2 short ones. I won't have Netflix though. I don't have Netflix anymore. I'll have to see if it. I mean, surely it's airing somewhere else besides Netflix. I hope. Eey. And thanks, guys. But yeah, if not, maybe I'll just bite the bullet and get Netflix again just to watch the series. We'll see. I am intrigued to watch it. I want to see what Nicholas left our show for. I have no doubt he's gonna kill it, But and I like Ryan Murphy's stuff generally speaking. I'm an American Horror Story fan. I am a fan of 911. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Why they looked like they were going to kiss the brothers. There has always been wild speculation, and I don't think anything was ever confirmed, but it's just things that were talked about these brothers back in the day, that there was a bit of an incestuous thing going on. I don't think any of it was true. I think there was some sexual abuse going on within the family in some way, if I remember correctly. But there was talk about, there was always, gossip about, there was a little bit of incest, maybe a little bit of romance between the brothers. I don't think that's true. It's not going to be all that surprising if Ryan Murphy decides to play up to that a little bit, because truthfully, he was a bit shameless with his Dahmer series as well, and certain liberties he took with that show. I know the father did something to them, but not them to each other. I think the rumor was that because of what his father, or I guess if it was his father, did something to them, then they just didn't know right from wrong in that sense, and so the brothers maybe did something. Again, I don't think it was true. It was just a thing that was kind of talked about back then. There is controversy around that kind of being alluded to in that promo too. We'll see what happens in this series. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna get Netflix. I'm hoping there's alternative ways to watch it. Maybe without pirating it. I wish it was on FX, the channel that airs American Horror Story. That makes sense to me. But if not, then we'll see. If I don't watch it right away, I'll watch it eventually. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching this live stream. Again, thanks for your patience and me working hard to put together my concert. Stay tuned for the next live stream on Wednesday. If you liked this live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you guys this Wednesday. Mwah. Peace out. Good night. Enjoy your week.